return of the land of gods and giants. Last we left off, our wild walkers had a battle on the edge of a frozen lake with some elemental spirits of cold, a group of mephits, as well as some other strange, almost will-o-wisp like frost spirits. The fight was not incredibly harrowing, but it was cold, and but our heroes prevailed. And afterwards, they had Juniper cast Identify on the items that they found in the chamber underneath the lake. And she determined that they had found 3 rather potent magical items. One was a beautiful opal, fire opal, known as the Opal of the Ild Rune, an opal with the power of fire itself imbued into it, and it could do a few pretty cool things, and that stone was claimed by Omenda. Also, a necklace of fireball, which was deftly woven into the end of Ewan's spear/staff that he had been carrying around. I believe I did tell you there was a certain number of beads left. There are 4 beads on it. And also a bright orange potion in a flask that was determined to be a potion of fire breath. So some very powerful and fiery items. After taking a bit of a rest, you all determined to continue your journey through this kind of valley at the center of the mountains, knowing that perhaps in a day or so's time you would have to begin the ascent again, for you are not quite at the peak of the mountains yet. You traveled until you came across a mountain forest where you decided to take your rest for the evening. Everybody had a magical apple that did some fun things. Dear Ophalon has a climbing speed still for another couple of days. A couple of people, namely Omenda and Juniper, both got some temp HP, and poor Kyra succumbed to an apple that gave her 2 levels of exhaustion.
The poor thing.
But you all took to rest that night, and in the middle of the night, Ewan crept out along with his familiar Iris, because he heard voices on the wind. Oh, it's so cute. It's Iris. Look how tiny and small. Following Iris through the woods, eventually found a grove, a oasis of sorts. And within that space, you saw an argument between the 2. What the hell is that? You saw an argument between 2
Farm
members
probably.
of the Tilwith Teg, the god of the sun, Belinus, and the goddess of winter, Byra, having a heated conversation. Once they had left, you entered the space and communed once again with a powerful oak tree, learning a bit more about the nature of this place, the nature of yourself. And when you asked the question, how would you go about finding the old man of the forest, the answer you got seemed only to lead you back to the beginning. Ewan returned to camp and began to speak to the Lady Rhiannon about what all had happened, and that's where we left off. However, there are some others who are sleeping that must be, well, we must have a bit of a discussion. Yes, Ophalon?
It was the gods that Ewan saw. It was the god of winter and the
God of the sun,
Belenus,
who is distinct from the god of summer, who is Angus, the king of the... Yes.
I'm trying.
Proud of you, buddy.
I'm genuinely so proud of you.
This is mostly full of my D&D Destiny notes and stuff from a campaign that I played like 5, 6 years ago.
You need a new notebook.
Yeah, get a new
But it's mostly empty.
and rip the old pages out.
No, I kind of want to play that character again.
This will be a long rest, correct?
It will be a long rest, yes.
That was my my rogue from Waterdeep. My name is Silas Duskseeker.
Before we get to everyone waking up, because Ewan returned to camp with still a few hours left in this sleep. Omenda.
Yeah.
What are you dreaming of?
Honestly, Omenda would just be probably truthfully dreaming of all of his personal failures over the course of the adventure. The fact that he was cornered by what was his first mate and was about to die. He's honestly just, feeling really bad about himself.
Fair enough. Omenda, you are sat within a pub. Perhaps it's one that you have frequently visited in your life, or at least a facsimile thereof, and you are whiling away your woes and speaking to a faceless bartender of these issues. Ophalon, what are you dreaming of?
Opalon, I am almost certainly, if I'm dreaming at all, it's probably either of home or dreaming about my impending reunion with my dear brother Pfeiffer.
I think in a combination of that, there is a memory, perhaps, that you're dreaming of, where it's an event that happened many times. It's you and your brother sparring at home, with weapons, without weapons, running full bore at each other and colliding your horns together. He always won that one. He's just so big. But in other fights, him with his large hammer and you with your much faster, smaller weapons, you bested him many a time. At the end of this, the two of you decide to go for a drink. And as you step within a pub, Pfeifferon is gone. But Omenda, Ophalon, you look ahead of you and you see Omenda sat at the bar. A pint in his hand, just talking to a faceless bartender who just stands there wiping a glass.
I used to captain the ship. I used to sail the seven seas. I used to be able to.
Ophalon just kind of plops down in the seat next to him, goes like this, the bartender. I'm sure you'll eventually find yourself behind the wheel of a ship again.
Here's hope. I hope to die behind the wheels of a ship. But looks like I might die on land instead.
Blah. Ain't gonna happen anytime soon as far as I can tell. We're doing pretty okay out here, I think. Wherever here is. How'd we get here?
I don't quite remember. I've been here all night, I think.
I must have had more to drink than I thought. Me, not you.
Ophalon, as you are looking at Omenda having this conversation, you look back, and even though you never saw the bartender move, you just look and there's a pint in your hand as well.
Gonna flick him my gold piece.
It goes through him. It just
Just right through the no face.
Yep.
Nah, I think we're gonna be okay out here. There's still so much for us to do, no?
Yeah. I don't even really remember what our original goal was. I think we were supposed to grab something for some guy, I think.
I only ever took the job so that I could get here, you know?
Oh yeah, aren't you looking for your brother?
Yeah. He's out there.
Any
I'll find him.
of these?
Oh, he's still up north. He's gotta keep going and eventually I'll find him.
That's good to know. Let's hope we don't get north and find out he's south.
Well, we started about as far south as we could, pretty sure.
Yeah.
Pretty darn close.
Could have hit something.
Ophalon kind of looks down and contemplates his beer for a second. I don't think that any of us are gonna meet our ends that soon. I mean, if I was going to, I think out of all of us, I came pretty damn close, and I managed to find my 2 feet under me again, and
Well, here's the goodwill, huh?
absolutely.
As the two of you click your pints together and drink from them deeply, you hear a voice from behind you. Well, fuck me, it actually worked! And as the two of you turn and look, you see standing, leaned up against the door, a familiar blue-haired individual.
Curb stomp that cunt, you guys.
She, looks in at you. She is in her clothes as you've seen her before, although maybe a little bit nicer. Her hair swept to the side. Does not appear to be armed. She does have a flute tucked in at her side, and she says, "Well, I'll be damned. I've been trying this the last few nights, and I finally got a couple of you. Impressive." And she, slaps the door, and she walks inside, and she just sits on a stool right next to you, Ophalon, and she looks at the barkeep, and she says, "Another round." And she just gets a pint, and yours both fill. And she takes a big drink, and she's like, well. You know, I was wondering if it ever... She looks at you, Ophalon. She says, "You were the hard one. You were the one that I didn't think was going to get in here. But I'm happy I got you both. That's really impressive, if I'm being honest." Yes, Ophalon.
Vibe check.
Yeah, make an insight check.
'Cause I'm just like this random woman. I don't know.
You know.
Oh yeah, you haven't seen her yet, right?
just fought her like a few days ago.
That's true.
Yeah,
what
but-
are you
yeah,
guys
but-
fucking talking about?
Yeah, but we're also in a dream.
I've seen
That's
it.
fair.
Yeah,
That's-
I've seen it.
Ophalon didn't even question why he was talking to Amanda all of a sudden after he was just fighting
Yeah,
with Cypher
for
on.
sure. What'd you get on the instant check?
3.
3. I mean,
Ophalon's very perplexed by this and just
Yeah.
does not recall who this
you
was.
just see Nil, this person, the leader of the Court of Whispers, who's been giving you guys hell for the last couple of weeks. She's here in this space now as well, and she just got you guys around or refilled your cups.
Ominda, sitting on his stool, leaned up against the thing with his hand in his jacket underneath
Mhm.
his arm, with his hand on his dagger. He's like, why have you been trying to talk to us in much sleep? You seem to know who we are all the time.
Oh, well, because we're a fair distance ahead of you now, and I thought, well, it would be worth having a conversation. She looks right at you, Amanda, and she says, "You're the one I was trying the hardest to get, because I figured you'd be the easiest. You know, the rest of your little group all's got that, like, Fey ancestry, kind of like me, going on, so it's a little bit difficult to creep into their minds." And then she looks over at Ophalon, and she says, "Which is kind of why I thought it was going to be hard to get you in here as well, but much to my surprise, look what's happened." Then she looks back at you, Amanda, and she says, "I can take your hand off your fancy dagger there, lad. I promise you, no harm can come to you here from weapon." And she takes out a dagger and stabs you in the chest. And it's weird because you can watch your skin bow and you watch the dagger enter, but you feel nothing and there is no blood. And then she just pulls it back out and vanishes the dagger, and she says, "See, I can't hurt you, you can't hurt me."
Well, said you've been looking to get me. What did you want?
Let's have a conversation, if I'm being honest. I know things haven't exactly been great. Where to start?
Do I know you?
You just keep drinking there, big feller. She pats you on the shoulder. Said, "We'll get to that when we get to it. I borrowed your
this small
skin
rat?
for a while. Or your shadow, I suppose."
I'm half tempted to just roll with Ophalon has face blindness.
An insane thing.
Hilarious.
You see, she says, "Well, let's start with the simplest way I can possibly start. I'm sorry. I know that I'm a cunt, a bitch, a bastard, a right piece of shit. I understand all of that. I've been called all of it my entire life. So, you know, apologies for that."
Well, let me guess. You're just a misunderstood person looking to do some crazy thing. Yeah, gotcha.
You're half right. I'm just a poor, misunderstood person who's trying. And then she laughs. She says, "I can't even do that with a straight face. No, I'm not misunderstood at all. Like I said, I'm a right bitch, and I always have been. But I'm not doing this just for myself. I'm doing this for other people. I can have an altruistic side. And I do, even though I'm sure you lot aren't too keen on believing me. And I haven't given you reason to. I admit that. But the things I'm doing, I am doing for the betterment of the inhabitants of this island. Those that have been here since the beginning of the world.
Oh, yeah. And how does stealing shadows, taking people's lives, help people that way?
Well, taken the shadows, as I tried to explain to your dear friends Juniper and Kyra, that was sort of a means to an end. Originally, we did intend on giving those back, but then y'all just started following us along, and I thought it was kind of funny, so I thought, well, maybe we'll keep this up. I couldn't have dreamed you'd managed to get ahead of it. That was impressive. Very, very impressive. And I don't know who there in the Wilderland you have on your side looking out for you, but he tried really, really hard to slow us down. And it almost worked. Almost. But no. As I said, the taking of shadows, that was more for the benefits of my associates than anything else. You see, they've been made into changelings. And they're sitting in the bar. She changes into Kyra, into Juniper, into King Mathenwy, into all of these different faces before changing back to herself. And says, I can just do that. No, the shadows are to add an extra layer to that. You see, when we have your shadow, we get your memories. We have an understanding of what you do. We have an understanding of what you can do. It makes the deception all the more rich and involved. Well, and I don't know if you noticed this, but we're walking around with a big spider lady. So we kind of have to make the deception as perfect as we can, otherwise people start to get a little freaked out. Yes, Ophalon.
Ophalon finishes his stein again and then slams it down onto the bar. Now that I'm a little more clear-headed, why don't you get to the point before we find out just exactly how far I can take this you can't be hurt thing in this place?
No, you're welcome to try. I should be kind of intrigued. I mean, I'm sure you could, hit me, and I would go flying, but it wouldn't actually hurt me.
I'd be more than happy to grab you by the legs and slam you into every fucking thing in this building.
Sure. I mean, go ahead.
You might not get hurt, but it'll make me happy at least.
Mindo puts his hand on Ophalon's shoulder and he says, "You need to."
Well, before I do get to the point, I do have a genuine question that I hope you will answer. How is dear Juniper? Is she making a recovery?
I really hope that I don't get to find you.
I'm being genuine. I didn't want to kill her.
Consider me skeptical.
I don't... Well, the rest of you were kind of scattered about, fucking up all of my little helpers. No, I gave your friend Kyra an opportunity. I gave her the chance. I told her to hand over what was mine, and I wouldn't do what I was gonna do. And even then, and she slams her hand on the table, even then, I told her, after I had done the deed, after I had snuffed the life out of Miss Juniper, which, again, I did not want to do. That was never the point of any of this. I offered her a chance. I told her I would bring dear Juniper back, which I am fully at liberty to do. And you know what Miss Kyra did? She chose the mission over her friend. And to a certain extent, that is admirable. I'll give her that. But man, I know now that I can't be giving that one ultimatums. She's a cold-hearted bitch.
I would like to whip around and smash my fucking stein across her face.
Yeah, go
as
for
far
it.
as I can.
It's an automatic hit. The stein shatters and then reforms in your hand, and you see her head does a full 360. It just and stops and says, "Well, that was fun."
I grab her by the collar and I pull her this close to my face, Kyra is going to spend the rest of her life feeling like she's to blame for Juniper dying in the first place. And I'm going to make it my life's mission to bring her your fucking head. Because the last thing any of my friends needs is more fucking problems. I just wanted to find my brother. You made this personal.
She just.
And I will kill you one way or another, you stupid bitch, for everything that you've done so far. For stealing my shadow and Juniper's. And for you are directly responsible for her death, and you will pay for that. I don't care that she's still breathing.
She's like, you've got her by the collar, and you finish saying this, and she's just kind of staring at you. She said, "Are you done?"
I think we're both done. Ominda, how about we take off? I've had enough to drink. I just throw it to the ground.
As Aminda stands from his stool and puts a hand out for Neil to grab to help them up. And he'll go to help them up and he'll say, "You can change form." As he lets her go, wipes his cap and readjusts his cowl as he becomes a version of her. "I can do it too. And you'll never know where I am. I don't need a shadow. I'll find you. You'll never be able to sleep without both eyes open."
You help her up, and she like looks around. She raises both of her hands, and she says, Right. As I said at the beginning of this conversation, I understand who I am. I know how I talk. And I know you have every right to hate me, and you should. But I am genuinely glad you're friend. And that's the truth.
Insight check.
Yeah?
I would like to also...
Yeah.
Don't assist. I have a +0. Just do it on your own.
I got a dirty 20.
I rolled a 2.
Amazing. A dirty 20?
Yeah.
Ominda, with a dirty 20, I think you haven't had a lot of, like, up-close and personal interactions with Nil. But you do see something that you recognize as genuine in this statement. When she looks down and she... Is it shame? Is it ashamedness? Maybe it's not quite that, but when she says that she's genuinely glad that Juniper is still alive, you believe she is telling the truth.
And just speaking in earnest.
Yes.
Well, I guess Heartless can be taken off your list. But you can remember that for you and for Gal, it is on my list.
Oh, yes, dear Galpa. She's told me a lot about you. I think you were a good captain, based on what she said. I understand the two of
Yeah,
you.
go continue.
I understand the two of you desperately want to get out here, but it's at this point that I do have to play my trump. And she snaps her fingers, and the bar disappears, and it's just like you're standing in an open field.
Mm-hmm.
This little spell that I'm working on that's allowed us to conversate. Well, you can walk away. I'm just gonna follow you so we can have this conversation that I'd love.
I have a question, Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
have we taken advantage of our long rest yet? Or are we still waiting till the morning for that?
Technically, no, because you're not.
Okay.
Still mid-rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I would like to. I'll go ahead and I'll pat Ophalon on the back, and I'll be like, "Let's go." And then I'll turn to Neil, and I'll through a cast of suggestion. Because I can still cast spells, right? Because she only really mentioned physical actions not having any
You
effect.
can try to cast a spell, absolutely.
I'll be like, we're gonna walk, and then I think we're gonna wake up because you're gonna make it so. I think that'll be in your best interest.
What's the
And-
save?
Wisdom saving throw. 16
16. Okay.
for the DC.
She just kind of is looking at you as you send this magic forth, and she see a little glaze comes over her eyes. Oh, right. Yes. I'm gonna let you all out. I don't think so, little man. But it was a nice try. It certainly was.
You know what I find genuinely impressive?
And what would that be?
Is that you can change into all of sorts of different things, but there's still one kind of person you can't change into.
A decent one.
I was gonna say someone worth more than a bag of shit, but sure.
Oh,
And
that's
I want,
pretty fair.
and I'd like to cast vicious mockery with that.
Yeah, go for it.
See if I can at least give her a fucking headache. It's a wisdom save.
Yeah, she, you send that out, you bark it towards her. She goes, ah, oh, ow, my head. Please, come on. The longer that we keep putting this off, the longer you have to sit here and fucking deal with me. I came here with a purpose. Let's get it done with. and
You
I'll
can
send
take your
on my
purpose
way."
and shove it right up your fucking ass. How about that?
Oh, I guess
I'm
we're
tou-
meant to sit here then.
I was having a perfectly good night's sleep and I didn't need this.
Well,
Ominda-
you know... yeah, Ominda.
Ominda, while they're like arguing and kind of yelling at each other, he will take a knee, or like rather he'll sit on the grass because he turned into the grass, right?
Mhm.
Let me look at what actual. Good. And I'm just gonna pull out my glower and just start playing a little tune.
Yeah. You start playing a little tune as Nil's like, right, I get it. Look. I will let you all get back to your shit. That's fine. I'm far enough ahead of you at this point. I don't really care that much. I came here with actual goodwill. I know I'm a bitch. We've been over this part.
Yeah.
Let me get through the bits that I've got to get through, and then I'll let you finish your lovely sleep, okay?
Whatever.
Alright. I can make it a bit more comfortable. Do you want chairs?
No,
We can
I
just
want
sit
you
in the
to
grass.
finish this spiel and go away.
Fair enough. That's all I was asking for. She snaps her fingers and conjures a chair just for herself. Leans back in it. Says, right. So, I do have a question. My question is, when dear King Mathen asked you all to come after us, and old Lady Caradwin sent her sister with you, did they actually tell you what it was that we had stolen? The significance of it? What it was all about?
Well, not me. I already had a mutual interest, so.
She says, "Y'all are coming after a scroll. A powerful one. A very powerful scroll.
Yep.
A scroll upon which is written a spell. A spell that no mortal would be able to cast without the use of that scroll. A scroll that was written at the beginning of the world. One of the first. Very powerful. And you know, I've never really gotten along with the hierarchy of the Twin Cities where I was born. But whilst it was in their care, I didn't really give a shit. Because it's ours. It's our magic. It's the magic of this fucking island. And then what did dear Carrotwin and dear Angus decide that they were going to do with it? Give it away like nothing to a colonizer king whose fucking city can't even expand further inland because of the will of people like me that won't let it be so. To tell you the truth, I don't even really know which of the 9 spells is inscribed on this scroll because it isn't my fucking business to know. But he didn't have a right to give it away. King or not. And I'm sorry, but that doddering old fool in Denasundod, clearly he wasn't able to keep it very safe because I basically walked right in and took it. And if that doesn't prove that that magic doesn't belong in the hands of those who cannot properly protect it, I don't know what would. Now, again, I understand. I'm a fucking liar. I'm a manipulator. I've fucked you all over a lot in the last couple of weeks. So, right here and right now, I'm extending to you, the 2 of you, right here and now, an offer. An offer for you to come and see exactly what it is that I find. I'm prepared to make an oath, a binding oath. I'm prepared to enter into a gesh with the 2 of you, on penalty, not of pain. I will enter into a gesh on penalty of death for myself. The 2 of you come, and you will not be harmed. That is the vow I am willing to make, right here and now, to give you an opportunity to understand, because we're never going to get along. I understand that, and yes, you and your friends may well hunt me for the rest of your lives, and you'll try your damnedest to get your grubby little hands, and that's fine. Somebody else will come and take my place just as it's been. But that's
Where exactly is this place you wish to have us see?
Now that information I am prepared to give, unless you agree to the gesh.
I feel like a better question might be, how do you expect us to explain this to the rest of our group, including, you know, the one you killed?
I would recommend not doing so. You both
I'm in
know.
the kind of...
She says, she looks at you, Ophalon, and she gives you just a slight smile. And she does, I think, even for you, without an inside check, Ophalon, like, you see on her face, like, not exasperation, like understanding of the situation. She says, I think you and I both know, Ophala, that if Juniper or dear Kyra or Ewan were within about 50 yards of me, that a fight is gonna happen, one way or the other. And the same may well be true for the two of you, but you are the two that I brought in to talk to. I want you to see, and I want you to understand. And once that's over, and you go about your way, the Gesh will end, and we can continue this merry game of cat and mouse that we've been having. And she looks at you, Omenda, and she says, I will give you the place to come, but not until you make the agreement. Keep in mind, oaths like these are not made willy-nilly. There is no downside for you. The two of you can come and you can fuck up my whole operation. If you want. I'm putting a little bit of trust that you're better people than that, though.
Ominda, now standing, with a furrowed brow, holding his hands like this, he just kind of begins to say, you know, before I was a ship captain, I was just a little tadpole. When I was a little Abe, surrounded by thousands and thousands of other eggs. One of a few that had skin like mine. You see, I was supposed to lead my brothers and sisters outside of the swamp, outside of our nesting pad. Before we were able to, all my brothers and sisters got gobbled up. Before I was even hatched from that shell into my tadpole form. So trust me when I tell you, I know what it's like to have what you had, what you're supposed to have, taken from you, lost to you. No, I do not like you. No, I will not forgive you. But if you wish to show us what you fight for, to give us the chance to decide whether or not what you got is real, or just bullshit, I'll do it. I'll do it.
See, her face actually softens a bit, and she looks at you and she gives you a nod of respect. And she looks over at you, Ophala, and she says, what about you, big boy? Think you can put off tearing my head off for at least one encounter?
I tell you what. 2 provisos.
Sure.
Number 1. If I were to agree to this little meeting of the minds, as it were, from the minute I agree, from the second I agree, till the second that I am out, wherever it is you intend for us to visit, you will not speak a single lie to me.
You see, she gives you a look of, like, respect and that she didn't expect you to, like, have that much wherewithal. And she's like, I think I can agree to that, yes. I'll include that in the gesh even. If I speak a single lie to you between now and then, I will die, Ophalon Thalamor.
And one more. Feel free to add this to your little geshy-weshy. If this is in any way, shape, or form a trap, or a diversion, or any other sort of mischief on your part that will negatively impact me, my friends, or anyone else that I've spoken to since I stepped foot on this island,
Well, worry not. That part's covered in the original agreement.
but specifically, and I want to make this abundantly clear. I don't want this to be like a we stepped outside the boundaries of wherever and oh, we know which direction they're going. We're sending a hunting party after you. No. Violate any of this. I don't give a shit about any of your. Oh, I'll die if I whatever. I don't because fuck. How do I know that it's gonna be true? How do I know any of this shit that you've said to me is gonna be true? So I'm gonna make you this promise on top of yours. Twitch the wrong direction. And I promise I will cut your fucking head off.
Certainly fair. Very well. Again, that was already part of the original agreement, but you said it so forcefully. I'll give it to you. Yes, I agree to that.
Oh, and I have a question for you after I make this agreement, after you're bound by truth-saying and whatnot.
She pulls out her...
I don't dissolve the fucking dream as soon as we shake hands, you know. Don't you pull any of that shit on me. I have a question for you.
She takes her hands, both of her hands, and you watch as some magic wraps up them, and she... Actually, this will be easier to show you. She takes her hands and she crosses them like this so that she can shake both of your hands properly. And she just extends her arms.
You sure about this, Frogman?
I had already relegated myself to death a long time ago.
She shakes both of your guys' hands, and you watch as the weave of magic like crosses over onto both of your hands and then tightens like rope before it's released. And she lets go of your hands. She says, there we are. A gesh is a gesh is a gesh. If I break any of the terms, I will die. Now, Mr. Thalamor, I believe you said you had a question for me.
Do you or any of your cohorts have any more ties to me, any of our group, any kind of whammies on our brains, any sort of mental connections, anything like that?
She like really thinks about it. She's like, I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of. Now, I know most of what Galpa and Aryan know, but there are some things that are still their own. So, she looks at you, Omenda, and she says, Galpa may very well have something on you, but nothing that she's felt important to tell me. And Arian, well, Arian kind of just does her own thing. She actually creeps me out a little bit, if I'm being honest. Oh, there was a truth. Hey, I've never said that aloud before.
Now, where are we to meet?
Well, when you all find yourselves to the dear city of Aphanaith, you know, the one that's still kind of sort of in this realm, before you cross the magical golden bridge into the summer court of Eothlin, where the High King stands grand in his halls.
Ophalon's rolling his eyes.
In Aphanaith, down in the muck and the shit with all the other people, look for a tavern. Look for... Oh, I just had it.
Also, don't forget, Amanda's old as fuck.
Yeah, for sure.
For a frog, especially.
Look for a tavern in Aphanaith by the name of the Laughing Fox. Ask there for a man named Grip.
What was the name of the bar again?
The Laughing Fox. She says,
Looking for a guy named Bark?
Grip.
Grip.
She looks at you, Amanda, and says, "You like Grip. He's a lot like you. Only a bit more of a foresty type than a seafaring type."
Is that with one P or two?
She, like, thinks again. She's like, "I think it's two. You know, I've never seen him spell it.
It's two!
That's pretty interesting to think about, actually." No, it's good. Says, "So, a deal is a deal. You want to take advantage of your opportunity to ask me any more questions?"
Why Galpa?
Why Galpa? I wish I could give you a grand answer like she was the perfect person for the position or whatever. The truth is, she just had access to a lot of money, and we needed it. Now, I didn't abduct her by any stretch of the imagination. She found us, if I'm being honest. She was interested, and I told her, well, if you've got some money, happy to let you join. So she found some money. Sad to say that that came at the expense of, well, she thought you and members of your crew. I've never been a seafaring type, so I've never felt the sting of mutiny. But I can tell you this, because I have poked around a little bit in those memories. It wasn't just a one-day thing where she decided, oh, I'm gonna turn my entire life upside down and fuck over everyone I've ever known. She thought about it for a good long while. It was a hard decision, but a decision she made nonetheless.
Who are you delivering the scroll to?
Nobody. I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it safe. Do you want to ask me if I plan to use it?
Based on your previous answer, I'm going to assume the answer to that question would be no.
You'd be correct. I don't even know what spell it is.
What are these 9 spells?
Oh, now that's an interesting one. Powerful magic. Magic that no one else can do outside of the gods. I want you to think on this before I let you all go. Why, in the name of all that is good and green in this world, would the King of Summer think, in his infinite wisdom, that it was a good idea to put a spell of that magnitude in the hands of a mortal mage? Whenever that's been done before, that man that sits on that throne, and he is a man, a half-elven man, who sits on the throne of Dinas Undod, he's had a father, a grandfather, and for even a brief amount of time, a great-grandfather, that all have sat on the throne, and never once has King Angus thought, I'm going to go give this scroll for, a show of goodwill, or faith, or whatever. Never once did that come up. But now this time, he's decided to do it. Stupid. If I'm being honest, I think the King of Summer, despite his youthful appearance, is going a bit senile.
I think for someone who claims to know the inner workings of the mind of gods, you have little concept of faith.
Maybe so. But,
Well,
my god, the one that created me and mine, well, she's not exactly a part of the Pantheon anymore, is she?
well, gods come and go.
Faith. Hard to have faith when you don't have anybody to place them down on.
Gods come
Right.
and go,
Yes?
They have worshippers, they gain worshippers. They do right, but eventually, we'll all do wrong.
Of course.
You must
They
find
give-
yourself on a very high pedestal to look down.
Oh no. That's where you're wrong, Ophanantana. And as the world begins to dissolve and all of you begin to fade from this place, she says, I'm not looking down. I'm at the very bottom, and because that's all I've ever done. And as that comes to a close, everybody gets a long rest.
Hey, long
Kyra,
rest,
you've
boys.
gotten rid of one level of exhaustion.
Iris is going to continue to sleep.
Well, what?
You can just do that, yeah.
I am going to continue to sleep.
Okay. You can definitely
She's
continue to
asleep
doze.
in the cart, so truly,
Sure.
yeah.
You may continue to sleep if you wish.
Being a half elf, don't you only require 4 hours anyway?
That's a full elf.
Damn it, I couldn't remember. Sure.
That's why I have all my nighttime shenanigans.
I
That's
will
why
be
I
right.
have all my daytime.
I will be right back. I've had to pee for like 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, we can take a quick fiver real quick because that was
Well, long since
an
pulled
intense.
up, right?
Everyone comes to consciousness. You and everyone is coming to consciousness. It's the end. Everybody's gotten their long rest. We're gonna say that you've been.
And that's
kind of-
about when I was coming
Yeah.
back and headed towards you. I felt like like curiosity really
Oh,
almost
Jen,
put
oh,
the
he's
better
over
out of me
there.
on that, but it felt like a bad idea. All by my
See?
lonesome.
You see, Rhiannon is just looking at you, and her mouth is like a bit ajar. She's like, "All right, that's a lot to drop on someone this early in the morning. You found the Tilwith Dell. You found the Glen of right. All right. Well, I mean that would make some sense. I knew we were close by, but your rabbit found it. I'm impressed. If I'm being honest, and I'm also
You're a
glad
remarkably
you're
good tracker.
I'm really glad you haven't been turned into dust. So, good on you for that one.
I mean, something I'm a little bit confused about. Is she had a harder time making her way into the glen than I did. I don't even remember really being impeded.
She's like, yeah, I don't know.
I don't
Maybe
know.
it's
That
just,
feels weird.
Maybe it's
At this point, I'm not surprised.
Or
He said
against
crazy
Amelia.
shit all the time.
Juniper, your hand was up. You're muted.
Discord,
Are-
yeah.
Are we all coming to consciousness?
Yes, everybody is
as
in the
he's-
process of waking up.
Okay, so Juniper's ears start burning as she hears this last little bit that Ewan says, and she's all of a sudden just right there next to him. And Lady Rihanna, you found a magical what now? Magical
Yeah.
Glen?
Fuck! Oh, stop that!
From the dead. No.
You're not supposed to do that.
No, I just told the story. I don't want to tell it again.
I heard I heard all I wanted to hear. Can we go? Can we all go see?
From the cart, you just hear, "No! We are getting off of this mountain! And we are not going anywhere else!"
Take a goddamn nap.
Kyra, you're just
Fire just
like
blacks back out.
Kyra, you're like you've shouted this and you turn over to go back to sleep and you just see a bounded, gagged hobgoblin, his eyes just wide as hell, just staring at you because you've just woken him up. It's like
Just throw a cup at him.
In Goblin, she just like half glares at him and she says,
Says what?
seeing Kyle's face.
Jesus.
You're a lot more personable when you can't talk. And then she goes back to sleep.
You're a lot more personable when you can't talk. What a douche canoe.
yeah, you guys begin to pack up camp. Kyra is going to remain asleep as long as she can.
I'll head the cart in that case. My perception's pretty good.
I'm
I
going
would
to
hope
assume
so, because I have disadvantage in the daytime anyway, so that's why I sleep.
Yeah, I'll percept it. For doing perceptions.
Juniper just looks at you, and I'm going to assume you're not going to let me go to the Glen because Kyra said no.
No, I just, I was kind of done with it.
That's
I was kind of done with it.
fair.
I received the information that I wanted.
The next time there is a magical anything, I would like to check it out too.
No, well, find a way to entrance yourself for a mere 4 hours to rest instead of sleeping, and you're welcome to join me on my nighttime shenanigans.
Or you could wake me up.
Mm,
No.
no.
Seems like a lot of effort.
That seems like it lacks the spontaneity that I'm looking for.
So
Sorry, Kyle. Did we break you?
that's really funny.
I think it's Kyle that's broken over here.
All right.
I give a little snap to the horses.
Juniper just starts shouting.
Yeah. Interestingly, I will say, Ewan, why don't you go ahead and, as you guys are having these morning conversations, are you getting the car to go? Make a perception check with advantage. You've been there.
Uh, 16.
16. It's interesting. That space had a distinct smell to it because of all the different kinds of trees and the melted snow and the crisp smell of ozone from literal embodiment of the sun walking around a bit. The wind is blowing towards you all from that direction, and you don't get a whiff of it.
You know, unfortunately, and really don't take this personally, it's a conversation with nature you'll have to have. Some messages aren't for everyone. I couldn't take you there if I wanted to.
That's
It's
fair
not
enough.
like it's not over there anymore.
Juniper shrugs. Oh, that's magic for you.
Here, Lady Rhiannon was like, fuck this random fight in a tin there. I haven't even been invited yet.
We'll find it
Elder
together,
Hearts
lady.
keep sucking me in and spitting me back out.
We'll find it together, Lady Rhiannon.
That one was very adamant that I
Yeah, he is quite literally getting abused by these fucking supers over here.
She like looks at you and she looks at your arms, which is so very clearly oak wood, and she's just like, I wonder why.
We should find get that scroll back from that lady.
Yes, yes, we
Quickly.
should. That would be in our best interest. We've still got probably another couple of days on the mountain, but maybe we'll be down at the bottom within 3. I don't know. It'll depend on the weather.
Ophalon comes ambling out of the trees. Yeah, we should probably find him.
After he finished pissing, such a
Yes.
long piss.
He really had to go.
He drank
Ever have
beer
those
in his
ones?
dreams, and it made him have
Go piss
piss.
off.
True.
I wasn't a
It's real
fan
beer.
of that fucking mill lady invading my dream like that either.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's noteworthy.
He looks over in a minute. You didn't tell him yet?
What now?
What do you mean?
Is
don't
Ominda
remember that?
lying?
I established that she doesn't have any kind of like mental connection with any of us. We're good. Like, it's not like she's gonna know.
I do believe that. Oh God.
Okay, so the lady that runs the Court of Whispers, Nil, and he's literally just like pacing as he's counting on his fingers. Met with us in our dreams. I hit her in the face with a glass. That was pretty cool. She said that it's one of 9 scrolls of like godlike power that can't be cast typically without being like a god. She doesn't think that the King of Summer should have given it to the guy because he doesn't deserve it because it's mortals and all that jazz. Fuck them, blah blah blah. Oh, and she entered into a death pact with Ominda and I, where she wants us to, him and I, come and visit. I'm assuming like their hideout in the woods or whatever. Try and explain why they're not actually the bad guys, they're the good guys, and why they had to do what they did, and all that shit. And if she lies, or if we are harmed in any way, shape, or form, she will die. He looks over at Ominda. I'm planning on fucking with the first person I find when we get there to see if I can incentivize them to hit me. Just so you're aware.
Pretty sure that might in and of
she deserves
itself,
to die.
that in and of itself might void that contract she created. The fact
That was not specified in any way, shape, or form. She just promised we wouldn't get hurt. If I provoke somebody into punching me in the face, that counts as me getting hurt. She just dies. You know, saves me the trouble.
I do believe that the specific statements was that she would not. Not that they would not.
Guess we'll find out.
Unless you wish to punch one person in a room full of his 40 other friends. I don't know if you'd like to do that.
Kyra, can you go
Could
ahead
probably
and
get away
make
with
a
that.
perception check for me? No disadvantage. This is hearing.
25.
25. Kyra, I don't know how much of all of that you definitely did hear the words nil and death pact, though.
Can
You
you
see,
stop
this is
fucking
why-
screaming?
And this is why I
We're
like
gonna
to keep
scare off
some
all the
things to
game before we
myself.
get anywhere near it.
Who's got that
I think her screaming right now is valid. You promised the person we're chasing what now?
Technically, she promised that she'll die. We didn't actually promise anything other than that we'd like visit their
But
hangout.
you promised.
So here's the thing,
You,
the
you
answer-
promised her to listen to her. She fucking killed me.
Yeah, I know. I fully intend to see her dead as well.
Well, I had meant to follow this here with a bit more tact, with a bit more information, and then come with y'all with news. Because I knew that this would not go over well because of how it has affected all of us. But with that being said, I have no intentions of showing any forgiveness
Yeah.
to this person or anything like that. The only promise that I gave them was that I would go there and hear them out. I already told them though that wouldn't change what would happen to them.
I am so sorry. And Kyra is like pulling her boot on as she's getting out of the cart. So, let me just remind you, all of you, what happened on Bieltana. You guys were gone for 2 hours. 2 hours you guys were away from my eyes, and they kidnapped you and took you God's nowhere. You think
It was
for a second that the woman casting the spell would not have had something up her sleeve? She can change faces!
I know.
See, and this is why you keep some things to yourself. Because now there is no opportunity that we don't go there on our own and violate this guest.
Oh, no.
And then
no,
cause
no,
a
no,
big
no.
blow outside.
This is a group discussion, man.
No. Kyra has a good point. Did it never occur to you that she's a changeling? It might not have been Nil you were talking to.
Oh, I'm sure it was her. She's fucking audacious enough, that fucking cunt.
I should have asked her that, dude. Damn it.
Truthfully, I don't think it matters.
She promised she wouldn't lie to me, so I will ask her when we go talk to her later.
You guys are more than welcome to do it on your own. Because now,
That was the idea.
you guys have bound yourselves to this contract. If we were to go with you, it would break the contract. So, maybe next time, when there's a woman in your brains, while you're sleeping, don't listen to her. Don't bind your souls to her in any way, shape, or form through magic or what have you.
Well, I don't think you quite have all the answers. I don't think I quite have all the answers. I don't think Neil, Mr. Maffenweek, or even Ophalon Nathalamore over there has all the answers.
Guaranteed.
We have all lost things. Every single one of us. I recognize that most of us here, except for a couple of us, have died. Or have nearly died.
I actually died, and I lost Bramble. And before getting to this island, I lost my home. I'd like to stop losing things. That includes all of you. So please don't get yourselves killed.
I mean, I did this for the group, to be fair. You, I'd like to avenge, first and foremost, and you, and he points over at Kyra, I did this because, like, she's fucking responsible for Juniper dying, not you.
See, a pirate's life is that of choices, strange bedfellows.
And so I figured the best way that I could help you perhaps kind of move past this is if I brought you her head as a gift.
You should be taking the head to Juniper. She's the one who got stabbed in the throat.
Yeah,
I'd
I
like
mean,
to
you'll
kick
both
it.
take you'll both take a crack. I figured I'd put it up on a rope, and you could just take swings at it with sticks.
Regardless, what the idea or lack thereof might have been upon making a, again, magic binding soul contract with the woman we are chasing to kill.
We didn't promise we wouldn't hurt her. Now that I think about it, Amanda.
Oh yeah, that was literally part of the purpose
It's
there. That we could do whatever we wanted.
It's done. It's done. You guys have done it. It's no use
Wait.
being mad about it. We are already past that point.
Well, I'm not
So
upset.
now, what we're going to do is we're going to break down the camp. We're going to put it into the cart, and I'm going to go back to fucking sleep because I still feel like I got hit by a fucking elk. So, perhaps for the next 8 hours, no one else makes any soul binding contracts while I'm asleep.
I can't promise anything, but I can certainly try. I'm also really thirsty. Does anyone have that orangey potion that we picked up?
You don't want to drink that right now
Why not?
because you will
Yeah, you
breathe
don't want to.
fire.
I don't know. It's pretty cold up
How
here.
about we don't waste it? We could use it for something else.
How about you have it, but save it for when you're fighting something big and scary?
I'm not usually thinking about having a drink when I'm in a fight, but alright.
Amanda just under his breath. Never remind me to never tell Falana that I'm taking money from him.
I don't feel like sharing my news now is the best of ideas.
That was. I want to take a step back from the game here as the DM, just to say I admire Travis's commitment to the bit because he didn't even talk about it with Omenda first. He just started talking about it, and it was beautiful.
I was like, man, I wasn't gonna tell nobody. I was just gonna disappear one day, like I normally do. Okay?
What, were you
I
gonna
rolled
leave
just
me
disappear.
there?
I rolled
Yeah,
behind the scenes
you'll be there.
to see because the only two I was trying to get were Omenda and Ophalon, and I didn't think I was gonna get Ophalon because of the whole Fae thing because I had disadvantage and I had these stuff, but I rolled so high. Anyway, back to this.
What was that little side comment about?
No. You need to go nap.
No.
So just go nap.
No. I'm curious.
No, I also
now.
want to know
No, I'm
you
curious
and what?
now. What? What did you say? I think I might have missed it. You're so pretty when you talk. You should do it more.
Amanda looks at Lady Rita as he throws the last piece of tent in the cart and he's like, let's go.
Fucking dad, I can't.
I said I didn't want to share my news because you're cranky.
Cause you're cranky.
No. He's right. I can tell that I'm quite agitated, and I apologize for my abuse intrusive commentary to any of your intelligences. I'm gonna go back to sleep.
There you go.
Kyra crawls back into the cart and wraps herself in the furs that they have collected and goes back to sleep.
As you guys continue or begin your journey for the day, you're heading out through this forest. You could see the day before the cliffs that will mean you need to begin to ascend again on the other side of this forest. It's probably going to take you the better part of the day to get through this area, but in some good news, there is just some light clouds, and otherwise it is a clear day. There's no weather to impede you. It continues to be cold, but now that you're within the tree line, the wind that's up here is no longer nearly as biting. And you all head off on your journey. Right.
Jaredwin, you have anything to add about the
Nope.
thing? Oh, okay.
Wrong one.
Oh, that Carradwin is with us?
Nope.
Rhiannon.
Yeah, I was like,
It
I
worked.
was like, I'm pretty sure it was like.
Ophlan also has goldfish brain.
You see her just like sitting there, like, you know, I really wish there was something I could add to any of that. Look,
Is a gish a thing?
oh yes,
Okay.
you've entered into a binding magical contract. You've basically entered into an unbreakable vow. There are other terms for it, but Gesh is the most common. And you're certain that she didn't apply any negative connotations to the two of you?
Correct.
Yeah,
I'm
she
assuming
just
that,
said
like, I'm assuming that as part of the whole contractual thing that
Oh.
all of the stipulations have to be verbal.
now that
Normally, yes. But
now that the cat's out the bag, I suppose. Ultimately, the only thing she said to us was that she wanted to show us what she was protecting, why she took the scroll. You learned how that there are 9 spells or 9 scrolls.
right.
She did also tell us that the rules that she imposed upon herself was that they wouldn't be able to harm us, that no harm would come to us while we were with them. And Ophalon, my dear partner, actually added on a couple of additional caveats of her not being able to lie. What was that second thing? I don't remember actually.
That if the whole thing was like a trap or a diversion or anything like that, that I was gonna absolutely take her head.
Yeah. And so I would assume that if we laid a trap for her, it might also go the other way.
Right.
From under the furs in the cart, because we're all in it now, right? We're
Yeah.
heading out.
Yeah.
You just hear, just so very quietly, just, that was pretty good, Ophalon. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Go back to sleep.
Lady Rhiannon, who's riding beside you all,
Slides the Ealdred into your furs.
just is like, well, I mean, she's entered, and you said she entered into Gesh on penalty of death rather than on penalty of pain.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, she must be serious to a certain extent.
I believe she said that it was really stupid to give a mortal mage that type of power.
She's not entirely wrong, but I don't.
Um,
I don't understand my father on the best of days, so
If memory serves, she called your dad senile.
she You see her face like hard, and she goes,
Which seemed kind of
I think it's
rude.
I think it's really important that I ride ahead and not hear any more of this conversation, or else I'm going to get fully involved in whatever you're doing.
Well, I mean, like, don't you feel maybe
Do
you
you
should be?
do you understand that what you've just announced to everyone here is that you two have been invited to see the den of the most notorious terrorist that this island has ever known. And the daughter of the king that most of those acts of terrorism have been committed is right here, and you've entered into a contract that will become null and void if you break it. You won't be punished with pain or death, but if you break the contract, which I presume she made you agree to come in good faith or goodwill.
That'd be right.
So if that does not happen, then it's all null and void. And I need to
She
go...
did say that the two of us could fuck her shit up, but I don't think that meant...
She looks at you, Omenda, and she says, do you have any more of that memory wiping water on you?
I actually might. Let me go ahead and check my bag. Let me see here.
I think I shouldn't know any of this, because if I know it, I'm going to have to...
So
Per
for
night-
what it's for what it's worth, Lady Rian, before you take a drink of the memory draft, I'm divulging this information of my own volition. Whatever you do with it, I don't know anything about that. I'm going in good faith. You don't have to. I don't know if you're following me.
Quite the town's guardman.
If
Wow,
you
you're
go
actually-
and see them and get caught, you could get in trouble.
And
Right,
they can give me the best truth serum they got. I will tell them that I don't know anything about that,
Right.
and I will be telling the
Right.
truth.
That's all well and good. Alright.
These people suck. Like,
I
These people
agree.
suck.
I agree, but there's powerful magic that's being played with right now that I'm not a part of, which is bad for you. So, I'm not going to drink any of the magic water, but I am going to pretend that I wasn't a part of this conversation.
I think that'd be best. Sometimes.
Just know that if things get any more further involved, I don't have any choice but to inform my father. And if he
Right.
knows that you've entered into an agreement with the Court of Whispers, that could be very bad.
Okay.
All of you.
So we won't say anything
With our
more about
own
it.
motives.
Will we, Ophala?
It
like-
doesn't
like-
really
like-
matter. You're underestimating how much my father is pissed off.
this
I'm
is
going to
this
go
is an
scouting.
undercover operation, kind of.
It is not undercover. You fully told us as soon as you woke up this morning after taking
Fully told
the world's
everybody.
longest piss. I'm going to go scouting now. She rides ahead.
Ophala couldn't know the single secret. He said, "Hey,
Of course,
so
a
we're about to do
pretty
some real
monumental
sketchy shit."
What did you say, Ewan?
But it was a pretty monumental piss.
Yeah. Oh,
Ophalan,
Yeah.
in all
What's up?
seriousness, you done?
I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting the fucking daughter of the King of Summer to call me out for how long my piss.
7 to 14 seconds for most mammals.
Anyways,
Actually, it doesn't
what's
depend
up?
on size. It's
What's
kind of
up,
interesting.
Juniper?
in all seriousness, don't tell anybody else about this.
I wasn't
If you-
planning on it.
Like, she's trying to look out for you two. You could end up imprisoned or worse.
I've been
You-
to jail.
So what is prison? You guys keep mentioning that, and I don't.
All of your things are taken away and you're trapped in a box with bars.
Yeah, you know how you get to go see glens and meet gods and shit like that? Imagine you having those opportunities taken from you.
You get to piss in a corner and you get the bare minimum of food and water.
No matter how long your
I-
piss is, you don't get no bucket.
I would probably teleport out of the bars, take my things back, and leave.
Most people can't.
They got magic jails too.
I would probably kick them very hard in their testicles for attempting to put me in there.
They wear cups.
Know how hard my feet
Myra.
can be.
Wrought iron cod pieces.
My point is, be safe. Oh,
I have a question.
Looney Tune antics.
Shoot.
Oakmon
Yeah.
mentioned 9 spells. Do I
Uh-huh.
know anything about that?
That's why I said it really loud, because Kyra knows things.
Intriguing. Make a for one, with no insight check needed. When the 9 spells thing was mentioned, Rhiannon was like had a look on her face like, you guys aren't supposed to know that. So that because she has no deception. She has almost negative deception.
He's
Oh,
like,
she went full Haggard. I wasn't supposed to tell you that.
Yes, very
I
much
would
so.
like to know if Juniper also knows something about this.
Juniper and Kyra, the two of you can Arcana or Religion.
I have. That's a tap. Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. It's a 14.
14. On Arcana or Religion.
Arcana.
It's a 21 on religion.
21. Juniper, unfortunately, your knowledge of this is very limited. You've never heard of anything quite like this. Kyra, you haven't really heard anything on the specifications of 9 spells or anything like that. But in a lot of the old stories, the old tales of the founding of this world, the first denizens of the were giants and Eladrin elves. They helped the Tuatha De Danann and the Tilwith Teg in the shaping of the Wilder Land and Bruin, this plane of existence. And in order to do that, they needed ways to cast godly magic. So there are tales of the gods passing certain magics down to those early inhabitants. But that's about what you...
Like, did you say that she was upset that they gave it to Mathenwy?
That's what it
She's
sounded.
like poking her head out of the furs.
That's what it sounded like.
That doesn't make any sense, because in order for the magic to be able to be used by mortals anyway, they were passed down from the gods to begin with. That just makes sense to pass on the spells to someone else. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that seems like really circular logic. Like, oh, they've never done it before, so why are they doing it now? It must be like that. I don't know. That sounds like kind of a. I don't know if there's a name for arguments like that, but it's pretty. It relies on itself really hard.
Everybody should be able to learn things past if they wish.
But why Mathenwy specifically?
Yeah, that's weird.
Maybe
is it
he was
about
longer
him?
lived than his ancestors,
He's only a half-elf.
whereas
Maybe he's a leader.
ancestors like the king ones, maybe they were just humans.
I think there's
He's a half
definite-
elf,
I think
so
there's
one half was
definite-
human.
I think there's definitely things that we don't know. Puzzle pieces that we're missing.
Oh, so that's not necessarily true. Humans can kind of just make babies with everybody.
That's true. I suppose elves probably could too. You could probably have like a half satyr, half elf, or like a. I bet some nymphs have done something.
I know that the magic is old, and that the Eladrin and giants had to have magics that not rivaled, but more mimicked the gods in order to help create Bruin. But that's really powerful magic. I'm not saying
I wouldn't trust
understand.
myself with it.
God. Juniper didn't get too great on the Arcana check, but with the little bit of lore that Kyra has just shared, did her caretaker, Bronwyn, tell her any stories that are similar, if not different?
Bronwyn was an accomplished hedge witch.
Fair.
Her magic primarily dealt with the creation of healing remedies. She was, by all intents and purposes, a slightly more magical than average alchemist or apothecariist. So you heard stories of magic, stories that everybody hears. There are tales of like how magic first came into existence, and that was from the primordial dragons, Bahamut and Tiamat, who, like, there are layers to these things. So the giants and the Eladrin were created by the gods and the Archfey, who were created by Tiamat and Bahamut. So there's like these layers to the cosmology. But nothing on this was in Bronwyn's purview. Her focus was primarily on magic that heals. But you know somebody else you could ask.
If I can get a hold of him. Juniper, being very contemplative, is going to check the glowing spot again, and once again try to reach out to Mordred.
It's quite dim, and unfortunately, this mountain is still interfering to a certain extent. You are in the domain of the old man of the mountains.
Juniper just kind of sprawls out on the floor of the cart next to Kyra.
A purple-tinged hand sneaks out from under the layers of furs and just holds yours, Juniper.
Well, Oaf and Omenda, do either of you know anything about the old man? The mountains specifically. I know there's a few of them.
Oh, not particularly.
Do I know anything about the old man of the mountain?
I probably don't.
You can make a religion check, Ophalon, and I will let you make it with advantage.
Alright, I got a -1 to that.
Dang, brother.
That's a 4. 13.
13? Ophalon, your people, specifically your clan, where you're from on the mainland, is kind of at a place where the forests and the plains meet the mountains. You're goat people. You're just as comfortable up in the mountains as you are out on the plains. Urishks are very in tune with not just the old man of the forest, but also his brother Donatus, the old man of the mountain. He is the unseen god. He is known to keep to himself. He is lord of all mountains. And you know more than a few people in your family who were like followers of the old man's of the mountain's path, who basically just walked into the mountains and never came back.
That's not good. I will relay what I know. You know, walking into the mountains and just not coming back sometimes.
Oh, lovely.
Happens to the best of us, I guess.
Juniper gives a thumbs up and she seems very exasperated right now.
Always something, huh?
So, in that magic grove, I saw the gods have a conversation.
Ooh. Juniper sits bolt right up.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit more interesting than the grove itself. It seems like the god of the sun was kind of interrogating the goddess, the winter witch. And she, he's under the impression that she knows what happened to Sylvanas. She didn't want to answer that question. But on the way out, there was a little opening, and it definitely smelled like a trap, so I didn't go into it alone.
That's for the best. I had Omenda at least. I knew if we needed to throw down, he'd have my back.
Yep, I did try to get us out of there pretty early.
But I think it's pretty important that I go back to my den at some point. That's why I'd like to find this scroll, right? That's all we need from this lady. Kick her teeth in and take the scroll and get the fuck out of there.
Theoretically.
And just like them, I can also pretend to be somebody else. So I might be able to sneak in there and get it.
That's risky.
Already gonna be there.
Why is everything so confusing?
That's life, ain't
I literally, Ophalon came here to find his brother. I literally came here just to find a new home and to learn magic.
Well, coincidentally, this is exactly what I'm here for.
Well, I mean, the terrorist is bound to not harm you guys or lie to you until you go meet her. She didn't say you had to go meet her immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Do we care about getting it back that badly?
Rhiannon probably does.
I guess that's important, yeah.
We're already
Oh, well.
in the mountains.
To clarify, just because I know this thing's been a
I'm
long time.
relieved.
Rhiannon is basically you guys and Rhiannon decided to travel together because it would be beneficial for traveling. Rhiannon is trying to get back to inform father that the
Yeah.
scroll has been stolen to begin with. You guys have been asked by King Mathis, whatever, to retrieve the scroll and bring it back to
Right.
him and Terran.
I mean,
Mm-hmm. And it just coincidentally, Galbavraga's with them as well.
Yes,
That's the only reason why I'm in it.
Math being the mere mortal.
correct.
Yes.
We are literally in the mountains. Wouldn't we have to travel days to get back to your den, Ewan?
Better part of a week and a half, probably.
maybe we should.
Especially since Mordred teleported us ahead.
Yeah. And the mountains are cold. I understand.
I think we're all just kind of in a mindful.
Where are we in reference, like on the map? How close are we to Affinix? That's where we're going next, right?
So Lady Rhiannon was saying that within the next 2.5 to 3 days, you should be able to make it to the bottom of the other side of the mountains. And from there, traveling through the forest, which will be her favored terrain, as it were. You guys should be able to make pretty good progress and get to Afanite at least by probably 4.5 days from now.
Okay. Well, you
Like,
got
I can wait over a week for us to make landfall and maybe get some shite done, but
might as well have something to do on the way. See you. Because we are right now. We are like right at the. Are we in the mountains or are we like at the base of them still? Kind of?
You are in the mountains. You are right in
Okay.
you guys spent a couple of days climbing, and now you're kind of in the center with some valleys and this little forest and the lake that you were traveling alongside.
Right.
And by the end of the current day, you'll make it to the other side of the forest, and then you have climbing you need to do to get over the highest peaks here.
Okay. Are we more moving? Because we're obviously moving towards Affinid. Of course, that's the most thing we're going towards. Are we closer to? Well, how do you pronounce that one? The Gerraw.
Keru?
Yeah.
You are very close to Keru. It's here
Because-
in the mountain with you.
Right. Because that's totally something that we could pass through, see if it is of interest as we make our way that way. Because we are not powerful enough.
No.
To hit that. I add a character. We are not powerful enough to hit them right now. We gotta get goods, services.
We need to plan.
I say we hit that Keru up. See what's up.
Is Kyra
What-
still?
Go for it.
Is Kyra still holding Juniper's hand?
I think when you sat upright, she let go
Fair
and
enough.
retracted back into her nest.
Were we given any information about Geru, or is this going to be kind of like maybe somebody knows something in our party?
You were. Like the other Kers on the island, Keru is a fortress of giants, where Ker Nimesel is the citadel of the storm giants under the waves, and Kerayer is the citadel of the cloud giants floating in the sky.
Right.
Keru is the once home of the frost giants, who were brutally slaughtered in a war hundreds of years ago.
Oh.
So you have heard Rhiannon mentioned Keru to you as you guys were coming up the mountains. She only referred to Keru as a ruin.
Well, it's supposed to be a ruin, so might not be much to deal with in terms of enemies, might be some wildlife, but might be something worthwhile in there. Maybe some hidden magics of old. Maybe one of them spells.
I feel like something really important happened there.
Yeah, we might even find out. There was a war or something, I believe. They got plundered, murdered. You know, I'm from the sea.
Or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Ominda is a 35-year-old man that's lived his life on a boat. You don't know much.
Well, we probably don't have the time to divert to some ruins. As interesting as they are. Oh my goodness, we should absolutely divert to those ruins. Oh, if you want to jog ahead and ask Rhiannon where they are.
And,
Yeah, you can do that. There's got to be something in there.
and
There's
Juniper
got to
then
be.
once again flumps on the floor going, I just want to get through these mountains. I can't talk to my patron.
Talk to us.
Oaf's already
Damn,
jogging.
that sucks.
You run up to Rhiannon is maybe, quarter mile, half a mile ahead of you guys. You jog up Ophalon. You see her ahead of you. She is stopped in the road, or the path through the trees here. She is she's not currently walking at the moment. She's fully stopped and has actually gotten off of the person, is looking at something at the base of a tree as you run up.
What's up?
She kind of ignores you for just a second, and then turns and sees you, and she says, I'm not sure. She reaches down at the base of the tree and picks up something and turns to you, and she says, but that doesn't exactly inspire good feelings, does it? And it is it's like the remnants of a shirt that are ripped and torn, and there is frozen brown dried blood on it.
Ooh.
No, that doesn't seem good.
She like sniffs it, and she says, cold. Fuck. Yes, what, did you have something you wanted to discuss?
Yeah, they were just talking with everybody back there about some ruins.
Aye?
Want to know if you might know anything about them.
Sure, the ruins of the Frost Giants, Citadel of the Frost Giants
Yeah.
up here.
Since we're up here already.
I mean, it's a route through the mountain. It's not the quickest route, and Lord Donatus is fairly protective of that particular region of the mountains. That's not to say that we can't go that way. I'm with you, it should be fine, but there may need to be an offering prepared for safe passage, if that is the route you want to take. It isn't a terrible route, because it is a bit more treacherous, that's certain, but when we get to the other side and go down, we'll actually be a wee bit closer to our destination. Might be able to shave off half a day, as long as the weather holds up.
Fair enough. So what are we gonna do about this bloody claw?
Well, that's a good question. It's weird that it's just a shirt. There's nothing else here.
Yeah.
I'm a bit concerned, to say the least.
I think that's reasonable.
Will you help me look for, any tracks?
Yeah, I can do that. Can I do a investigation?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's not very good. Best I can. It's a 13 again.
13 is good. She also got a natural 20. So between the two of you, go looking around. Ophalon, you find what looks like maybe more the same set of clothing, just kind of torn to shreds, and you reach into the snow and pick up something, and you see frozen and blue foot, just a foot, bones sticking out, looking like it's, for all intents and purposes, been ripped off of somebody's leg. And at that point, you hear Lady Rhiannon, oh my goodness. And you turn and look, and you see the remnants of this person, once they were, who is just eviscerated. The blood has already dried and frozen. There's not much left. And there's like a pack that's been torn open, and all of the stuff has been scattered. And Lady Rhiannon's looking at you, holding this like piece of pant leg with a foot attached to it, and she looks down and points, and Ophalon, you see a massive humanoid footprint. She says, "We best get back to the group. There are Yetis." And that's where we're gonna end today.
Oh, with the Yetis.
He's got the Yetis. Come see the Yetis.
Oh shit.
That might be a problem.
Yeah, dude. Dude, I love that fucking dream shit.